What's going on, guys? Straw Hat Brian, I'm here back again to deliver my One Piece chapter 893 review for you guys. If you haven't read it yet, suggest you do so now because you know spoilers will be lurking in this video. So, bro, let's talk about this chapter. Cover story, gotta talk about the cover story each and every week, my dude. So, Leo found out last cover story. He got a new ship. This cover story, it's time to take the ship out for a spin. So now they're setting sail. Don't know where they're going. Hopefully we might catch up with some of the other members of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. But I'm wondering what is Leo's purpose going to be. I'm wondering if there's going to be a rendezvous point or a rendezvous some point with the other members of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet to come to Luffy's aid, maybe in Wano. Wondering if we might get that through the cover story alone. That's my theory on that. Let's talk about this actual chapter, bro. Because this chapter, my guy, was pretty ill. It's pretty ill. Chapter solely focused on the battle between Katakuri and Luffy. And I don't mind, that Oda tries to basically shed a bit of light on each of the Straw Hats and what they're doing as the chapter has been going. I mean, as the arc itself has been going on. Excuse me. But in this chapter alone, he's just solely focused on Katakuri and Luffy, and it's pretty awesome because it continues on. We do finally get to see that Luffy did suffer a pretty devastating injury to his abdomen, and he got pierced by Mole, which is basically Katakuri's weapon of choice, basically like a trident of some sort, but not really. Kind of reminds me of Keelik's staff from Soul Calibur. You probably know what I'm talking about, those of you who play Soul Calibur. But Katakuri, he notices that something is amiss. Even though he did deal that blow, he did kind of feel like maybe Luffy could have dodged that. Or he kind of felt like something isn't right necessarily about this battle. He felt like Luffy has been gaining momentum, and then he has been slipping up, like certain things that he feels like he should have dodged, he didn't dodge. So, Flampe, scene switches over to Flampe. We get just her and her creepy obsession with Katakuri and like her sister love complex, and like it's just real creepy. Like I hate that in certain mangas, like where it's almost like there's this obsession with the younger sibling, and it's almost like a gross incestual kind of relationship, and I hate that. So not a big fan of that. Not a big fan of Flambe at all. I find her to be really annoying. She looks like Tamago. So I'm wondering, is like Tamago her dad? Because then she just, her whole character I just do not like. She just looks weird. She looks like an eggplant. Anyway, so she's been interfering. She's been running interference with her silent blow darts, and as Katakuri and Luffy are continuing their battle, and Katakuri is clearly winning this fight currently. Like, he is giving Luffy the hands. He is giving him blow after blow. Luffy is basically just getting whipped. It's like a grown man beating his son. You know what I mean? Because his son basically wasn't listening, and he just had to lay that discipline. That's what it looks like. And it looks like Luffy's just getting up, being stubborn, doing what Luffy does, and he just keeps getting knocked back down. But he's keeping getting back up. So that's inspirational within itself. So, next what happens is that Katakuri does tell Luffy that, look, like, you slipping up like this, one slip up could be fatal for you. And then he begins to continue to pound on Luffy. He gives him his kind of version of Gum Gum Gatling, but it's kind of like slightly different because he's able to like form these donuts that are separated from him with his devil fruit ability, which is the Mochi Mochi fruit, and basically create fists through these donuts. So he can create several of them and then throw like mad punches through them. And I think that's crazy. If Luffy could do something like that, that'd be amazing. But it's almost like Gum Gum Gatling, except, I wonder if like there's more, like he can throw more blows, or like he can only make a certain amount of donuts and throw punches. That's what I'm wondering. But it doesn't seem like Katakuri has no problem wielding his devil fruit at all. He's pretty much like, he has his devil fruit down packed. He's awake. He's an awakened Devil Fruit user. And scene shifts over that, like I said before, that Katakuri really does start to notice, like, okay, like, he's losing his momentum, his fighting spirit. Something is not right. Like, the guy who I'm fighting now is not the same person who I was fighting moments ago. And Luffy is about to get attacked by Flambe because she wants to run interference, and then he actually subconsciously dodges her blow dart. And we also get to see that Luffy is getting closer to seeing Katakuri's color of his observation haki, which I'm wondering if we're ever going to kind of get in them more in-depth detail. What is the color? Like, is there really a color wheel or a color scheme like the emotional magnetic spectrum that's in the DC comics that the Green Lanterns and the Red Lanterns and all the other Lanterns use? Like, is that also kind of like a thing in One Piece? Curious, who knows? But Flambe, she's running interference. Katakuri notices that she's been interfering, and he goes to take matters into his own hands because he proves that he's a noble fighter. And he walks up to Flambe, he like impales himself, tells Flambe that but when this fight is happening between men's, like, we don't need cheap tricks or help from people like you. And so he rips his scarf off, reveals his face, and then she's like disgusted and starts screaming, and she starts ridiculing him about his deformity and his features. And we actually get a flashback of Katakuri as a kid, and then she calls him a gulper eel. And basically they give a little picture of what that is. Oda draws a little picture of what a gulper eel looks like, and he does kind of look like Katakuri. And so we see that as a kid he had that deformity. So I'm wondering, does that tie in with all the Big Mom kids? Because I feel like some of the Big Mom kids who have like clear noticeable deformities, are they picked on or are they ostracized, where the more normal looking children are favored? Maybe could that be a thing? Because it seems like, Big Mom, she's ridiculed Katakuri. She's also ridiculed Pudding and her third eye. So I'm wondering if this is like an actual thing. I'm going to theorize, I'm going to take a shot in the dark, and maybe that we might get a backstory, a bigger backstory on actually the Big Mom family as a whole, and how things have basically become the way that they are, and why a lot of these political marriages and births happen at the stake of just Big Mom growing in influence and power. So I'm wondering if we're ever going to get that, and I'm wondering if some of the Big Mom children actually feel this disconnect between a mother's love and, basically just having to listen and follow directions just to basically obtain some form of love that you may never get, or some form of approval that you may never get. And maybe that's why Katakuri does go so hard, and why he is the MVP of this arc for the Big Mom Pirates, is because maybe he's just doing all this because maybe despite what he looks like, he wants to be praised. He wants Big Mom's approval above everything else. We don't really know, but I'm theorizing maybe sometime, at least before this arc is over, maybe within arcs to come, we might get a bigger backstory on the Big Mom Pirates, because I feel like there's this piece of the story or this large piece of the story that we're not getting. Maybe we'll get it in Elbaf, maybe we'll get it sooner than later. But some of these Big Mom kids, they didn't have a pretty pleasant childhood like we're thinking, and because of Totland being supposedly being a place where it's supposed to be prejudice free, everybody's accepted, doesn't seem that way, especially with the way how Flambe is treating it. So anyway, we get to see that Katakuri is a noble fighter. He loves the thrill of battle. He basically is telling Luffy, like, I can no longer look down on you. You are someone that I have to take serious. And he says that he's sorry that he didn't get to notice that Flambe was running interference from at first. And Luffy's like, man, don't even worry about it, bro. We're pirates. This is how, we don't really fight fair anyway. And so they're saying, they're like, yo, like, let's get rid of these, these BGCs, these background characters, and let's just do our thing. So they both enact their conqueror's haki. They knock out Flambe and the rest of the father after they done took pictures of Katakuri, because she thinks that exposing Katakuri and her face is just, and his face is just going to, I don't know, I guess boost her popularity, or I don't know. I don't really know what's the point of that. That's why I'm saying, like, there's a big piece of story that we're missing. And I'm wondering who came up with the notion of Katakuri being perfect. If he was being ridiculed as a child, but as not Flambe, but as Brule stated that everybody loves Dogtooth and that he is pure perfection since birth, but he's not perfect. So I'm wondering what is going on with that? Like, is there like some lie that's being told within the Big Mom crew just to like keep things like in order? Like, I'm wondering, I don't know. And so I think that was really cool that Katakuri was noble enough to impale himself to even the odds against him and Luffy. He takes his jacket off, they knock out, the fodder, and then they're like, yo, now the true battle between men starts right now. And I'm going to theorize that somewhere in the next upcoming chapters, Luffy's going to have either a power-up, or we're going to fully see him get a temporary grasp on this observation haki, and maybe for a moment surpass Katakuri, deal a devastating blow, at least long enough to halt Katakuri's movements so that Luffy can escape the mirror world. That is what I believe currently, because I really can't see Luffy truly beating Katakuri, basically KOing him like he did Rob Lucci. But I'm not saying that it can't happen. It could happen, because Luffy really did get them hands from Rob Lucci, and if anything, this whole arc did give me like a Water 7 Enies Lobby feel, considering that Sanji kind of got like whisked away against his will, and we saw that Robin, she got taken away against her will. So who knows? I'm theorizing maybe the Germa is gonna come up. I think they're gonna come up in case of this whole cake thing and helping out the Straw Hats. And I think we're gonna get more details on what's gonna happen with Big Mom. I think that's all that's gonna happen in the next chapter. I think we might get a little bit of continuation from Luffy, and then we're going to see more on what's going on with Big Mom, Capone, the Straw Hats, and the other members. Because all this has to happen simultaneously. So we're all just getting like the bits and pieces right now. So now this is Luffy's time. So maybe we'll get, maybe like another chapter and a half maybe of Luffy, and then probably Oda will shift back to like what's going on with the rest of the Straw Hats member. I gotta rate this chapter a solid 4.5 out of 5, again, because it was good, it was action. When I think it's gonna get animated, it's gonna be really great. I think it's gonna be probably one of the best fights in One Piece to date. One-on-one fights to date is gonna be Luffy versus Katakuri. This is Straw Hat Brian. I'm going to be signing out. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more. I hope you like the review. If you dislike the review, hey, you're more than welcome to share your opinion. Hit me up in the comment section down below, man. You guys have a wonderful day.